The next is Bab, and inshallah we will end with this Bab. قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, إنما الكرم قلب المؤمن. That karm is the heart of the believer. In the previous hadith we learned that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, do not call grapevine karm, right? And here, the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم that karm is in fact the heart of the believer. Now what is karm? Karm is basically something that is highly esteemed, right, or excellent, or very precious, very valuable, and it also means generosity. Okay, now the Arabs would basically the concept of drinking, okay, in that culture was a very dignified concept. Meaning, if a person drank alcohol, then they were doing something very dignified. Why? Because by consuming alcohol, when they would get drunk, what they would do is that they would go and slaughter their animals, right? And they would give it all in charity. Okay? So, according to them, getting drunk was a way of being generous. Okay? Because when you're in your right state of mind, you would be, greedy, you would be selfish, and you wouldn't want to, give so much. So basically, being drunk was associated with what? With acts of generosity. Okay, so the idea was that a person who drinks alcohol, right, and serves alcohol, is and is buying alcohol and is drinking alcohol, they are a person of dignity, a person of honor, because they are very rich, they can afford it. Right? And then they're going to be generous. So this concept of associating generosity and dignity with getting drunk, right? This is something that existed in the pre-Islamic Arabia. And when the Prophet ﷺ said, do not call grapevines karum, it was to break this connection, that do not associate being drunk with dignity. Okay, because wine was made of what? Of grape juice, right? So, and what this teaches us is that our language, again, the words that we use should be appropriate, because there's direct impact of what we say, and also indirect impact of what we say. وَقَدْ قَالَ إِنَّمَا الْمُفْلِسُ الَّذِي يُفْلِسُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Now, something important, Imam Bukhari is clarifying over here regarding the word karum, when he said, karum is only the heart of the believer. This doesn't mean that other things aren't karum. Okay? The statement, karum is only the heart of the believer, this doesn't mean other things are not noble, dignified, or generous. No, other things are also dignified, but ultimate dignity is where? In the heart of the believer. So Imam Bukhari is explaining that with the use of different wordings and statements that show that sometimes a word is used in an absolute sense, which doesn't by definition negate everything else. So, for example, when the Prophet ﷺ said that al-muflis, meaning the bankrupt, is the person who will go bankrupt on the Day of Judgment, this doesn't mean that a person who loses money in the world is not bankrupt. No, he's also bankrupt. But al-muflis, the height of bankruptcy, is where? It is in the person who will go bankrupt on the Day of Judgment. كَقَوْلِهِ, like his statement, إِنَّمَا السُّرْعَةُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The strong person is the one who controls himself when he is angry. Again, a strong person is also someone who can defeat others in a physical altercation, in a fight. But the height of strength, ultimate strength, is in a person who is able to control his anger. كَقَوْلِهِ لَا مُلْكَ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. Like his statement, there is no kingdom except for Allah. فَوَصَفَهُ بِانْتِهَاءِ الْمُلْكِ. So he described him with the ultimate kingdom. ثُمَّ ذَكَرَ الْمُلُوكَ أَيْضًا فَقَالَ إِنَّ الْمُلُوكَ إِذَا دَخَلُوا قَرْيَةً أَفْسَدُوهَا. In the Quran we learn that when kings enter a city, they destroy it. Meaning when they attack a city, they destroy it. So you see muluk, kings, which means that people can have authority and power and ownership and even kingship, but the mulk that is for Allah, that is ultimate, that is absolute. Right? So the point is to show that this karum, where the Prophet ﷺ said that innamal karmu qalbul mu'min, that real karum is the heart of the believer. This is in the absolute sense. Okay, so the words of the Prophet ﷺ, innamal karmu qalbul mu'min, what do they mean? This means that real dignity is only in the heart of the believer. Okay, this doesn't mean that dignity is not in other things. It is, but real dignity is in the heart of the believer. Why? Because the believer's heart is truly dignified. It commands him to do what is right. It forbids him from doing what is wrong. It is filled with iman, right? It has fear of Allah. It is adorned with taqwa, right? وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Iman adorns that heart. So that is real dignity, right? Dignity is not because of, a plant, okay? Dignity is not in a certain plant. It is not in a grapevine. It is not in a drink. It is not in, who gives how much money. Dignity is with faith, right? And this is something that should really make us reflect on ourselves, that, we have become so materialistic and so superficial, and our language actually reflects that where we, think that certain, individuals are dignified because of what? Because of their skin color, right? Or because of their worldly fame. And what do we learn from this hadith? That it is not with the superficial, right? It's not with the standards that we have created. It is with the standards that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. So our language, the expressions that we use should reflect that belief. The next hadith is حدثنا علي بن عبد الله حدثنا سفيان عن الزهري عن سعيد بن المسيب عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ويقولون الكرم إنما الكرم قلب المؤمن. He said that they say karum, meaning they say that the grapevine is karum, whereas the fact is that karum is the heart of the believer. Meaning the believer is more entitled to the word karum because of iman, because of taqwa. So in these ahadith, the objective is to basically dissociate the concept of dignity from drinking alcohol. That when it comes to sin and when it comes to corrupt behavior, then our language should reflect that, right? Not that we glorify sinful things and sinful behaviors with, honorable words. So these statements of the Prophet ﷺ, in a way, were emphasizing the prohibition of alcohol. And our language, again, we should be careful in the kind of words we use to refer to certain sins and also to refer to certain good things and to people, to individuals. We have to be careful because the way we describe things is the way that we think of things, right? And there's, there's very, clear impact of what we say and also implicit impact. So we have to be cognizant of that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all wisdom and give us the ability to purify our tongues, our expressions, that we are respectful towards others, we are respectful towards ourselves, and we're also careful in how we refer to different things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all wisdom. Inshallah, we'll conclude over here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.